The graphs for L1 and L2 are shown below. How is this system of equation classified? A. Consistent independent. B. Inconsistent. C. Consistent dependent. As you can see here, the lines have different slopes and the lines intersect at one point. So it is consistent independent. Why is that? It is consistent because the system has at least one solution, and it is independent because the system has exactly one solution. And this is the solution.
Hello everyone, today we're gonna know how to find limit at infinity directly. So in our first case, if the degree of the numerator is equal to the degree of the denominator, then the limit will be equal to the ratio of the coefficient of the leading term of the numerator and denominator. So for example, limit as x approaches infinity, 3x power of 5 plus 21x power of 3 over 7x power of 5 minus 18x plus 4. So the degree of the numerator, the highest degree of the numerator is 5, and the highest degree of the denominator is also 5. So in that case, we're going to take the leading coefficient, which is going to be 3 over 7. So the answer is 3 over 7. In our second case, if the degree of the numerator is less than the degree of the denominator, then the limit is equal to 0. So, in our example here, limit as x approaches infinity, x plus 1 over x power of 2 plus 1. The highest degree in the denominator is 2, and the highest degree of the numerator is 1. So in that case, it's going to be equal to 0. In our last case, if the degree of the numerator is greater than the degree of the denominator, then the limit will be infinity. So in our example here, we have limit as x approaches infinity for x power of 3 over x power of 2 plus 20x, which is going to be equal to infinity, since the degree of the numerator is highest than the degree of the denominator.
Simplify I to the power of 37. To simplify, you need to know I to the power of 0 equals to 1. I to the power of 1 equals to I. And I to the power of 2 equals negative 1. So now you need to know I to the power of 4. To find I to the power of 4, you need to know I to the power of 2 times I to the power of 2. And as you know that I to the power of 2 is negative 1, so negative 1 times negative 1 will give you 1. So we know that I to the power of 4 is 1. So now we want to find I to the power of 37. So if we divided 37 by 4, we will get a fraction. So it's wrong. We will go one step forward and we will take 36. If we divided 36 by 4, the answer is 9. So it's correct. But we need to have 37. So what we will do is 36 plus 1, which equals to 37. And as we did, 36 is divisible by 4, so we will take I to the power of 4 for 36, plus 1, and 1 is I to the power of 1, I to the power of 1, and then here I to the power of 4 equals to 1, times I to the power of 1, which equals to I, so 1 times I equals I, and this is the answer.
I will talk about normal distribution and how to solve any question that requires normal distribution. So first of all, you have to draw the normal distribution graph and just part it in the middle and do this, and then divide it by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. Here, it's this section is 34%. Now it's really important for you to memorize these numbers as you'll use it in any normal distribution question. And the second here is 13.5%. The third here is 2.35%. And lastly, here it's 0.15%. Same on the side. So here 34, here 13, here 2.35, and here 0.15. At this point in the middle, here it's the mean, the mode, which is the most repeated number, and the median, which is the middle number. Here, all three of them are all equal in normal distribution. Using the graph that I have just explained and drawn, we're going to reflect it on an actual EmSAT question. Here, the heights of boys in a grade 10 class are normally distributed. Watch out the word normally distributed with a mean. So write it down, mean of 168 centimeters and the standard deviation of 2.5 centimeters. So standard deviation of 2.5 centimeters. In which range do 95% of heights approximately fall? So we need to find the range of 95%. So we're going to work with what is given here. So as you can see, we have a mean of 168 centimeters. So we're going to apply it here in the middle, as the mean, mode, and median are in the middle. So 168 centimeters is here. And we have a standard deviation of 2.5 centimeters. As we're going to the right, we're going to add 2.5. As we're going to the left, we are going to minus 2.5. So here, 168 plus 2.5 is 170.5, and onwards. So after adding and subtracting on each section of the graph from the left and the right, 2.5, which is the standard deviation, we are going to find the range of 95% from the graph using the numbers that are below. So here we're gonna add first 34% and 34%, which is 68, and then percent, and then we're gonna add 13.5 and 13.5 to 68. So 68 plus 13.5 plus 13.5 is equal to 95%. So here we have already gotten the 95%, which is the range that was asked by the question. So we're going here to see from where we started, which is this section here, which is 163 centimeters, to this section here, which is 173 centimeters. So the answer here will be C.
So first of all, let's just break down the question itself. So what have they given us? They've given us angle A, or 20 degrees. So that is this. So let's first label all the sides. So if we go opposite to the given, that would be CB, which would be our opposite. Then if we have see our 90 degrees and we go opposite to that, we have 2, which is our hypotenuse. That finally leaves us with AC, which is our question mark, and that is our adjacent side. So after looking at this, after it's all mapped out, you can see that they haven't given us anything on opposite, so we don't need to use it in this equation, so we can leave it like that. But if we look at what they have given us, they've given us a question mark of they want us to find AC, which is the adjacent side, and they've given us the value of the hypotenuse, which is 2. Now we have to look at the 3 common functions or ratios and see what we could use for this equation. So if we look at sine, or we have opposite over hypotenuse. No, we're not using opposite. So we look at cosine, ka, adjacent over hypotenuse. Yeah, that can work. So we're gonna go with cosine 20 equals, so ka is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that is question mark over 2, and this is what we're going to work with. So first we have to multiply by 2 on both sides to cancel out this, so that we can leave our question alone. We can leave this on its own. So we have to do this equation and we'll be able to get our answer so it's 2 times cos 20. Okay. So 2 times cos 20 equals 1 point, and then they want us to round it to our nearest hundredth. So if we look at here, yeah, we can add another one. It's over 5, so it's going to be 1.88. 1.88. Good job. First of all, we have to label the sides. So first we have to see our angle given, and that is angle 50 or angle A, whatever you want to call it. So first of all, we label the sides. So if we go opposite to this one, then our question mark, which is what they want us to find out, which is BC, this is our opposite. Next side. Now we have our 90 degrees here, so what's opposite to that is 3. And that would be our hypotenuse, because it's opposite to the square. Now our remaining CA is our adjacent. Since we haven't been given anything regarding it, we don't need to use it in this equation. Okay, so first of all, we have to make what we can use, which ratio we can use. So they've given us the opposite, which is what we need to find, and our hypotenuse. So if we look at the 3 main functions, which is sine, cosine, and tangent. So if we look at sine, so opposite over hypotenuse, that has both of them, so we can use that. So we're gonna go sine 50 degrees. Usually they put it like this, equals opposite over hypotenuse. So it's question mark over 3. Okay, so now we should get rid of the 3 over here, so we can leave the question mark alone. So that's 3, and then we have to multiply on the other side as well. So that becomes 3 times sine 50. That is equal to BC. So now we have to put this in the calculator, this equation. So it's 3 times sin 50. Okay. So here's show calculator. So I already did this before, but so 3 times sin 50 equals 2.29. Or not 29, because they want us to do it to the nearest hundred. So if 8 is on the other side, it's more than 5. So that means we can change this number. So that becomes 10, becomes 0 here, you add a 1 here, 2.30. So BC equals 2.30. Good work.